Well, there we go. Let me set up the desktop really quick. And we're going to go for 20. Just setting up my desktop. You guys are coming in on the replay. You might want to just skip right through this. Let's see. Hey, 3 people already. Wow. I haven't even started yet. Four people. It's only a minute into it. We'll see who comes in. 6 people. Hey, Kathy. She's sleeping right now on the bed, so this is a good time to go live. And the bunny, she's eating her hay. Hello, Mary Jo Silva. Hey, Jewel. I love your name, Jewel. That's such a pretty name. Hey, Jane. Yeah, I really ought to plan these out, but I don't. It's just like when I can go live, I can go live. Let me know that you can hear me today and I'm not like in a wind tunnel or crackling. 9 people. Wow. I just started. Not even 2 minutes yet. Can somebody just type in the chat that you can hear me? Yes. Okay. And I'm not crackling. I'm not in a wind tunnel. You know, I have these very cheap mics. Absolutely not. I would not. If they're small children, no. Not a good idea. For many reasons. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Little smiley faces popping up on my screen. Bunnies are very fragile and their bones can break super easy. And they can also die of a heart attack. Hey, I just started, Chaz. I haven't even started the show yet. And that was Santa Sparkles. Thank you so much. Those are so pretty on the screen. But they come up really quick. Like if I look away, I'll miss it. Because I'm kind of looking at the bottom of the chat. But I happen to be looking up at my green screen and I saw it. Hello, Rita Close. Where are you coming in from, Chaz? Don't know if you've been in here before. I have so many new friends now. It's hard to keep track of everybody. Awesome. That was very unexpected, but thank you. And I added a little more to my goal. Not that I'm asking for more, but I just get tired of that thing like blinking at me saying that I need to reset it. I probably should have added more time to it, but I didn't. That's me trying to convince myself to keep the video shorter. What are you guys doing tonight? I don't know if this is a good time. Friday, late afternoon, Los Angeles time. Let's give it another minute. If you're watching on the replay, just, fast forward through the first few minutes. And for the people that are sending me messages saying they're trying to replay it and they can't see the chat, that's because it takes YouTube 24 to 48 hours to reload the chat. It also takes them that long to put the thanks button on there. Once you see the thanks button, then you'll know that you can swipe left from comments and you can see the chat again. Hey, Don. Wow, already 7 likes. Thank you so much. Well, I guess we'll just get started here with the little small group that we have. This is April Davis, PI, as you know. I'm a licensed private investigator in Los Angeles, California. Oh, thank you, Mary Jo. She says, well, you are like a friend, and I just found about 3 months ago. All you guys are my friends now. Hey, good evening, David from England. So, I want to talk about, I have a lot of question marks regarding Nancy Guthrie. It's day number 83. Before I get started, though, need to just handle a little housekeeping and say thank you to the person who sent 2 gifts last night through the Amazon wish list. I haven't obviously received them yet because I only go to the mailbox every so many days, and I don't know how often or how quickly they are sent. So as soon as I pick them up, I will show them on a live stream and show you what I've got. And I won't mention your name unless you contact me privately through my email and let me know that it's okay to shout you out, because even though I have your YouTube name or the person that made the payment for the items, I still don't know who you are on my YouTube channel. So yeah, can I send you something that I seen on a channel earlier today? Sure, go ahead, Dawn. Just send it to the email at aprildavispi@gmail.com. And make sure it's not something that's corrupted. Okay. Remember 2 days ago I talked about how when you live in a big city, or in Nancy's case, she lived in a town that was near the Mexican border, and sometimes there are businesses there that, like I gave an example of a furniture store selling sofas, and maybe they really are selling sofas, but maybe the business is really a front for something else because they're running things to and from the Mexican border, and it's basically a big money laundering scheme, and it's usually a business that has really bad feedback. If you look at like their Yelp or their Google reviews, most of their customers will say, hey, this place sucked, this place ripped me off, this place was dirty, or I didn't like the people or their attitude. There's always something that kind of tips you off that this business could be a little suspicious, or sus, as the younger generation likes to say. Well, I guess I'm not the only one that thinks that, because I did a deep dive in the middle of the night. I can't stop thinking about Nancy, and I can't stop thinking about Savannah and all of this. And I can't stop thinking about Front Porch Guy, and is he the only one? Does he have accomplices? And somebody, I won't name her, but in a Facebook group, I forgot to turn off my notifications. And I'm seeing something from Dawn. So let me just turn off the notifications so it doesn't cut my video off. But thank you, Dawn. It was a woman. She was on a Facebook group. I've never seen this group before. I don't even know what the group is about. But they were talking about this case. And this person happened to be referring to someone that I've kind of been looking at in the background of this. One of the many characters or actors in this soap opera that we're calling it now. And she says specifically, and this was weird because it was like she took the words right out of my mouth. And I don't think she watches me because I don't recognize this name. But she says, this guy just started following JLR Investigates on his Facebook page. His profile is now blocked, but can still see his likes and who he follows. Creepy. He's watching JLR, who was live streaming since day one. Also, check out his Instagram. He follows TMZ. Now, I did check that out, like, beginning of February, and that was true at the time. Read the comments about his business. Not going to talk about the business he is associated with, but many say it appears to be shady, running a lot of blank across the border, usually a sign of money laundering. Money laundering. Were you watching my video 2 days ago, this person on Facebook? Like, yeah, there are some sus people that live in just about every city across America, but especially cities that are close to Mexico. Oh, no. I don't have a mod in here right now. Hold on. I could make a whole video about the joys, the pros, and the cons of monetization. Hey, Sue Brock. Thanks for coming in. So, it seems like this person, I don't know who she is. I don't recognize the name. I don't think she watches my videos. Hey, I just had to take somebody out, Trisha. I was like, I need a mod. Oh, my God. Some other people are kind of thinking what I was thinking, that, this could be somebody connected to a shady business in Tucson. It could not be someone who's connected to a shady business in Tucson. Remember, everybody on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. Thank you, Thank you, Trisha. Oh my gosh. And we just got started. Hey, I've got 19 people in here. I've only got 10 thumbs up. Can you give me a thumbs up? Also, I'm trying to get to 3,000 subs, and I recently hit 2,000, and I'm already at, let me check today's total. I'm kind of shocked that it's built this fast for me, being a very small channel, and I mean very small. It's already at 2613, so let's share this channel. Let's get it to 3,000 subs. Now, back to Nancy. You know, I recently, the last few days, I've been talking about Front Porch Guy. I've been thinking a lot in the middle of the night. I can't sleep in the middle of the night until like 4 or 5 a.m. some days because I'm thinking about Nancy, and I'm thinking about Savannah. And I'm going down every single rabbit hole. And then I go, April, go back to square one. Money or revenge. Either somebody was out to get Savannah or somebody close to her needed money. But I have the same questions that I've had from the very beginning. Thank you, Trisha. She says, most welcome. I don't have the patience for nonsense today. Me either. Because it just, it takes the train off the track sometimes. Why? And then I'm just going to go through the list really quick, and you guys just chime in, and I'll read the comments. Why did suspects stay in the home for at least 41 minutes? Now, that could be a suspect singular or suspects plural. That's someone who's extremely comfortable with being in a house, almost like they've been there before, or they know somebody who's been there before. Why would you take that type of a risk on a legit kidnapping for ransom? You go in, you take your target, you get the heck out of Dodge. At least 41 minutes. Was there forced entry? Remember, at the beginning of this case, Nano says there was. Later, it's coming out that there was no forced entry, that the back door may have been unlocked. Hello, Jay. Hello, David. Thanks for coming back, David. Who propped the doors open and why? Was it for an easy escape? Those big, heavy clay pots, they're heavy. Those were big, giant pots, that could fit almost a tree. Those suckers are heavy. And they were propped right up against two of the back doors, apparently. If this person didn't know Nancy, and they just were there for a kidnapping for ransom because she was the daughter or the mother of Savannah Guthrie, how did they know about all the cameras and where they were? Especially that neighborhood is so dark. Remember, the night this happened, it was full moon, so it was brighter than it usually is. But how would they know where the cameras were along the side of the driveway and along the back of the house? And apparently they were all smashed. But now I'm hearing she had cameras inside the house. How would that person know where those cameras are or were, if they even existed? Wouldn't they suspect that an expensive house like that, worth almost $1 million, would have some sort of a security system or an alarm system? Like a silent system, not necessarily a siren, but, something that would dial 911 automatically. An alarm company calling 911, hey, something just compromised this alarm system. Wouldn't you have those questions if you were going to go in and commit a crime like this? Especially being so careful to try to cover your face and your hands and your body. But do all that janky stuff at the door with the plants and the Nest camera. Like, that makes no sense to me. How would they have known, or did they know that she had hearing aids? If they're going to take her and they're going to have to give her commands to, like, okay, get up, walk here, do this, she couldn't hear them. She took her hearing aids out at night and put them in the chargers. Just like her Apple Watch, that was being charged. Her hearing aids were being charged. How would they hear her? Now, that would go to their advantage that she wouldn't hear them break in, but at some point they've got to go to her bedroom and they've got to take her. Yeah, and how did they know that she was an old lady living alone? My guess is because not only did they know somebody who had this information, but they were staking out that house in a white van. Why did they not leave the ransom note at the scene? Why didn't they send it to Savannah or Annie? Why would you deal with TMZ? You're conducting business. You're not trying to draw attention to yourself. I think they could see them on one of the Today Show episodes. Possible if they were watching her for a long time. That's a good point. But still, some of these cameras are like yay big. Or she could have had sensors, like infrared sensors. How did they not know this? What did they know or not know? What did she have or not have security-wise? Why did Nanos release the scene so quick? At first I just thought he was an idiot cop. But then I started thinking, well, is he in some sort of trouble? I'm hearing rumors now that he had gambling debts. That he was gambling on the job when he worked for El Paso Police Department. I can't confirm any of this is true, but this is what I'm hearing. Remember, we're not making accusations here. We're just discussing the case. Is he involved in something shady? Did Savannah herself have any active threats? Why the second mortgage that I've been talking about from day one? Was she really behind on her property taxes, per another YouTuber who I won't name? And I don't even know if that's true, but they said it was confirmed. Was Tommaso, her son-in-law, really not working the 25-26 school year? And if so, why not? How are they paying for that big house? And another question, and maybe someone who knows something more about aviation and plane tracking than I do. Why did a private jet take off from Tucson Airport at 4:45 a.m. the morning of February 1st? What I would like to know, because it was a private jet going to Mexico, is what jet company owned that jet. And the reason that I'm asking is because one of these many characters or actors on this case apparently has a relative who may be a sister who works for an international private jet company. Thus, the ability to secure a private plane quickly. These are all my questions. I'm throwing them out there. Trisha says, anger and gambling. Trisha, and one of his underlings was arrested for kidnapping. Yes. Hello, Kathy Mowry. Jay, yes, I have 50% hearing loss. It would frustrate them so much repeating themselves, they would either have me behind or take hearing aids. That's interesting. I know we already went over this, Trisha, but she said, I think you could see them on one of the Today Show episodes. Did they show the backyard that closely and the driveway and where all the gates are and the doors? And did they put a drone up over her house? Like, they seem to be so comfortable there. But, maybe the plants, the potted plants, the big clay pots, maybe they were propped open. They propped open the doors with those in case they had to make a quick escape. How would they have maneuvered anything in that house with what looked like a set of double gloves? I've never owned a ski mask that looks like that with the little eye holes. They look like the bank robber mask. But those, I think, would be really hard to see out of. I remember when I was a kid and, they sold those stupid, flammable Halloween costumes with the plastic mask with the rubber bands, and they were really hot and tight, and you could hardly see up, down, left, right. Like, how would you not trip and fall wearing something like that? How would you see to stumble through the house and know where the light switches are? They said there were lots of lights on in the house. Well, how would you know where the switches were in the dark? Apparently, she turned off the lights when she went to bed at night. How did all the lights get turned on? That would light the whole house up. That would draw attention that, hey, what's going on at, 2 a.m.? All the lights are on in this house. It just, none of this makes any sense to me whatsoever. And if anybody can help me out there and determine the name of that flight company that owns that private jet that went to Mexico at 4:45 a.m. February 1st, I would be forever grateful. What have I missed? Kathy says she had a great day today. I'm glad that you did. I took my bone pill that I take 3 to 4 times a month, and it makes me squeamish for about 2 days. So I'm not having a fun day. You can see the hearing aids on the show. Oh, on the Today Show? Those aren't double gloves. Okay. Those are workman gloves. You wear them to do roofing. Or major sanding and scraping on old wood. Okay. Yes, that is the key to one of the suspect's accomplice and or witnesses. That neighbor behind her house with the barking dogs, how did he not see the house all lit up at that hour? I don't know if he did or he didn't, but his dogs woke up. His dogs heard something, I think, and sensed something, which dogs often do. They can sense danger. They can smell it. I'm okay. It just makes me feel kind of crummy. It doesn't really make me feel sick, but some days if I forget that I've already taken it, and I'm like, by the next day, I'm like, oh, why am I feeling so bad? Is there something wrong? Oh my God, then I realized, oh, I took my bone pill. Yeah, because they came in, in the middle of the night, and they know the time that front porch guy was there based on the video that Google was able to recover from the Nest camera that was taken. Even with the camera taken, they were still able to recover video clips when she didn't have a subscription. So that's amazing. And then some of the cameras that were in the back and along the side of the driveway, they were able to get thumbnails only, like just still photos, but they didn't show anything. Trisha, I'm going to at least make sure there isn't some dog-eating animal out there. Yeah, and that person, their internet went down that night. But yet, Nancy's was obviously working or the camera wouldn't have been recording. So people were like, oh, there was a cell jammer. But apparently not at Nancy's house. There's just so many things that don't add up. And now there's this retired FBI agent, the special agent from the FBI. I've seen the guy before. He's kind of an odd-looking fellow. He's got kind of a narrow face, bald head. He's kind of odd-looking. But he seems very intelligent, and he thinks that this is a kidnapping for ransom and that it's a single person. And I've never thought that it was a single person. I'm not even sure that it's a kidnapping for ransom. I mean, yeah, obviously money is probably the motive here, but not necessarily a kidnapping. Why would you? Their kidnappings don't work like this. Even if you're an amateur, watch a movie, read a book. It doesn't work like this. Especially all those ransom notes. I'm not convinced that those were legit at all. And remember, the guy in California who sent the text ransoms, he has connections to Tommaso. It's almost like he already knew them. Were the wires cut or signals jammed? Not at Nancy's, or you wouldn't have been able to see that video from that Nest Cam that Google got. That took about a week to get, but that was incredible. And how come it's, we talked about this yesterday. It's 2 months later. Geez, it's close to 3 months later. And they got that front porch guy video like within a week. Like, how come nobody's come forward and identified him? How come nobody recognizes him? How come nobody's come forward and tried to claim the reward? $1.2 million on the table. I mean, there's Crime Stoppers, there's the FBI, there's the money that the families put in. It's all from different sources, and they all have different conditions attached to them. But that's a lot of money to just be, looking the other way from. Like, I just don't get this. Jay said the Wi-Fi company has said there is 0 problems that entire month according to their automated system. Yeah, I really think the thing in the pocket was a walkie-talkie because there's somebody else involved. The FBI. Remember, a guy I used to work for, and he was a former, let's just say, an intelligence agent with the United States of America. He used to call the FBI the Fat Boys Institute. And we would get cases as private eyes that they couldn't solve. It's funny because I've actually worked with a couple of FBI agents in my business, and they call me because they don't know what to do. Oh, I hear you're up in LA and you're good on celebrity gigs. Can you help me? Can you follow this person for us? We're the FBI. I don't know how to do that. Trisha says, and the only one that claims their camera wasn't working was the hinky busybody with the barking dogs. Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying, Trisha. It's just, some of the stuff is funny. Like the neighbor Jason, who's really not a neighbor because he comes from that Marana, whatever it is. Marana, I think they pronounce it there. And they're like, oh, he's always wearing sunglasses. Well, yeah, it's the desert. It's sunny. We can't see his eyebrows. Look, he's wearing sneakers. He has a ring that's just like the ring that's underneath the glove. We don't know there's a ring underneath that glove. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Sometimes I look at it and I think the guy has well-manicured nails, but then other times I can't see the nails. It's just the angle that you look at all this stuff. The FBI thinks the guy's 5'9", 5'10". Oh my God, he shops at Walmart. Absolutely, I know. We don't know that any of these things were secured from Walmart. They could have been picked up at a Goodwill or a Salvation Army garage sale. Who knows? It's worth looking at things, but and the funky holster, with a weapon that doesn't match. I don't get any of this. And the longer this goes, the less of a chance. And how many days can I keep going live and saying, well, this doesn't add up and this doesn't add up, and today we heard this, or this may be true, this is unconfirmed, or this is confirmed, this is a rumor. We're all kind of stuck with this right now. And there are other crimes in the world to talk about. But this is the one that keeps me awake at night. Could be his brothers. Oh, you mean the backpack? Or the holster? Well, if Nancy isn't found on a bench by a hiker, I have a whole new theory. Yeah, and then I've been getting some emails about the guest house. And I've heard that she did used to rent that house for approximately $1,500 a month, but she apparently hadn't rented it in years. And supposedly there's a Persian woman who is also connected to Nancy's address, and she may have been one of the previous renters of the guest house. And now, there's some YouTubers that are saying that they talked to one of the gun shop owners. Remember at the very beginning, the police or the FBI handed a list of names, of 20 names, that they wanted them to look in their records. And some of those names were Persian names. Why did they have a lead that they were looking for a Persian individual? I know when I first saw the video, and Megyn Kelly was like, well, he's not black. He could be white. He could be Hispanic. And I just looked at it and said, or he could be Middle Eastern. But I didn't have anybody in mind. I just was like, yeah, he could be Middle Eastern. I don't think he was Asian as in from the Orient, just because the eyes don't look that. But many Middle Eastern countries are part of Asian. So, Asian Middle Eastern, possibly. But it's so hard to see, especially with that bite light, bouncing off the lens of the camera and kind of reflecting off the camera. Kathy says, I finally got my muscle relaxer back and it's taking me time to get used to it. Ooh. Scary stuff. Be careful with that. If you need it, you need it, but be super careful. Plus, the scariest thing about my health is all the heart drugs that I have to take every day. It can't be good, Oh, Trisha says you don't think it was a bite light. You think it was a simple pin light. Okay. Jay says sleepy time. Do you think the barrel of the pin light is what everyone sees in the pocket? No, I think it's an antenna for a set of walkie-talkies. So they didn't have to use cell phones where they could be pinged. And they probably didn't even have their phones on them if they were smart. So they carried walkie-talkies. It stops the muscle spasms in your back. Yeah, my back is bad, but I haven't got to the point of having to take something for my back, even though it kills me every day. Like this chair I'm sitting in now is just like, ugh. But yeah. And I've been to many orthopedists, and they're like, yeah, it's really bad, but not bad enough to have surgery. Which is actually kind of a good thing that I don't have to have a surgery, because that's a tough one. When he turns around and slightly bends, you can see him take it out of his pocket, and you can see the light come on the porch tiles. Oh, okay, I didn't notice that. I still think, though, he's got a walkie-talkie, because you can see like the little bulge in the pants pocket before he goes and gets the weeds. Isn't that weird, too? A light in his mouth and the weeds, and walking up there with his head down. But then it almost looks like in that video, if you look at it again and again, that he looks back like he's looking at someone that's standing out on the driveway or in front of the house. Yeah. Oh, poor Kathy. I hear you, sister. Trisha, yes, because there was a wired wreath hanging on the wall right next to the door. It was all for show, or he's a window licker. It's everything about this is weird. And has a suspect or suspects left the country? Is Nancy somewhere local? Or was she taken out of the country? I think that would be very hard to do. I just have so many questions, and I don't really have a whole lot to talk about today. Like, I don't have anything to talk about that's new. Except I saw this Facebook post that I read at the beginning where the lady's like, hey, this guy just started following JLR Investigates on his Facebook page. His profile is blocked, but can still see his likes and who he follows. He's watching JLR, who is live streaming since day one. Also check out his Instagram. He follows TMZ. Read the comments about his business, blank. Many say it appears to be shady. Running a lot of blank across the border, usually a sign of money laundering. There could be some shady businesses in Tucson. Doesn't mean anybody connected to those businesses is involved in this case. Because we still don't know the motive. If we could just know that, like the motive. Revenge, money, connected to Savannah or connected to somebody close to her that knew she was elderly and she lived alone and that Savannah was her mother, or Savannah was her daughter. Like, I just don't think it's a random thing. She was targeted. Tricia said, I did hear something new. According to a leak, one of the living room chairs was moved. The print and the carpet would have been removed when vacuumed. Oh, I didn't hear that. Let's hope they were able to get some DNA off that chair. Yes, if that's true. Motive is everything, yeah. This whole thing, it just bothers me. This is a terrible crime. And there's like 91,000 people, apparently, that go missing in the United States every year, a lot of which are never found. And they don't get any attention like this. But I still just can't stop thinking about this. It's like when I work cases and you get really emotionally involved in a case, and you can't do that because there's another one, and then there's another one. Like all the death cases, you just have to look at them as a number and not get emotionally into it. And you have to just next. You just have to go through the steps. Oh, thank you, Tricia. Hello, Quentin Broom. Yeah, I hadn't heard that about the chair, though. And if you're going to steal something or take something, then the whole house is turned upside down like a burglary or a robbery. There's just crap everywhere. But her house was apparently immaculate and clean, and everything was in its place, and nothing looked like it had been tampered with or removed or taken. A good investigator would vacuum for evidence. Tricia says, but we don't know if they had one of those there. She lived in the house since 1975. She had her friends over every so often to play the game that she played, the Mahjong or whatever it's called, Mahjong. I've never played it, but she was like really into that, and they would go to different houses on different Friday nights, and so there was people coming in, and she had, caretakers, and I'm sure home repair people, and her family would come, and, Annie Tommaso lived nearby. There's just so many people in and out of that house, I bet, on a weekly basis. But if it's immaculate, you would think it may have been recently back. Probably was if she had like a housekeeper or a caretaker. Apparently she had a housekeeper. Hello from Alabama, Vicky. Welcome in, Alabama. Yeah, I don't know if FBI or the police did anything. There's only so much you can do in 20 hours. From the time your deputies arrive on scene, and 20 hours later, it's already done. Oh. And why is this guy, Nanos, acting like such an imbecile in this? Why? Can he really be that stupid and got as far as he has in his law enforcement career if he's that dumb? Are his actions intentional? And to be up there on the news like a crybaby almost, talking about how, stop looking at the family and, just go out and do your job. Just go out and lead your team, your detectives. Don't worry about the media and the press conferences and the TV shows and the basketball games and, do your job. And now his butt is in trouble. Vicky says yes, and another one is in the fire. Yeah, it's just, I want to keep going live as long as I can on this, but I can't just talk till I'm blue in the face every day and say everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law on my channel. And we're not accusing anybody, but, I made a whole chicken scratch list of questions today. Like, these are the things I want to see everybody's finances. Why the second mortgage? Was it already paid for? What was it taken out for? What were the family's finances? Did Savannah contribute to her, on a regular basis? Oh, good night, Jane. Thanks for coming in, honey. This was not a random crime. This was not a burglary, robbery gone wrong. This lady was targeted for a reason. They took her. They didn't even apparently take her shoes or her hearing aids or her meds. Wouldn't you at least take the meds to keep her alive so that you could get your ransom, you could conduct business, and it's done within, a couple of days, and she's released. Vicky says you have a list too. Yeah. Just because I'm not working this case, I don't have the answers to some of these things that I'm asking you guys. The police may have the answers to some of this, but obviously not everything, or they would have someone arrested by now. Dawn says she still thinks it was TNA. Everything is still on the table as far as I'm concerned. Let's start with the employment notes asking for a Bitcoin. Who could live comfortably on $74K? Yeah, apparently it's worth less now than it was when they started this. Jay says, I'm sure Savannah helped her mom, Kathy! Thank you so much. Not necessary. And for those of you that have come in later, I was shocked. Last night, I went onto my email, and there was 2 messages from Amazon saying that someone had purchased additional items from the gift list. Like, mind blown. And I know what they are, but I haven't picked them up yet because they're probably not even, probably takes a few days to get there. So next time at the box, I'll pick them up. And I'll let you guys know. Hey, Will Byers. Dawn says, it just makes more sense. What I sent you will probably open your eyes a little bit more. Oh, thank you, Dawn. I'll check that out. Hope you're doing well, Will. Yeah. And I really want to get back out to making more long-form content videos. But, I am limited on what I can do because of my body. It's not like I can just get in the car and drive across town and go, oh, let me go film this at the beach or film this at the airport, or let's go out and follow the fire trucks or the news vans, or, breaking stories live on the scene. Like, I'm just not physically well enough to do that. But I still want to go out and just make videos that are fun for me. But I've just been so busy. The ring light I have is on a desktop tripod with a phone mount above it for vlogging. Dawn says, I emailed April something I can share with you too. Vicky says, this is a crazy case. Yeah, it's cray-cray. I hope that law enforcement, that they know a lot more than what the public knows. I hope they're not just relying on a piece of hair that's rootless, and that's going to, solve the whole shebang. Especially since now the FBI and the private lab in San Francisco, where they're apparently forwarding that to, they have to start all over again. There's another, 11 or 12 weeks. Trisha says, I am a redhead, only child, Sagittarius. We need to know every single thing there is to know at all times. That's so good. Sarah, welcome in. Doesn't the fact that they took the camera mean they knew she didn't have a subscription? Not necessarily. Yeah, where do we go from here? If anybody can help me with that question I have about that plane, there was a private plane in Tucson at 4:45 a.m. on February 1st, and it took off for Mexico. I would really like to know the name of the private jet company that plane is registered to. If anybody can help me with that. Tricia says, I don't think so, Sarah, or they would have known that the camera was still recording. Oh, Vicky says, my mama is 83, and she is totally upset with this case, and where do we go from here? I think all we can do right now, Vicky, is wait for that DNA. but I'm not hopeful on that. I mean, we definitely have to, do the testing. But it's not just like, oh, they're going to test that and boom, they're going to have their answer. April, I know there's a creator out there that has that information. Or with that information. Oh, you mean the name of the flight company? It's in the group of videos when everyone thought Nancy may be at the hospital. Oh, I remember that rumor, like when they were down with little Carlos, our DoorDash guy. They were down in Rio Rico, and supposedly they went and got an old lady and they rushed her to the hospital. It was a Tucson. Yeah, this is separate. This is the private jet that took off at 4:45 a.m. on February 1st, the night that, or the early morning that we think Nancy was taken. And it went to Mexico. The news in JLR or Enton was at the hospital. Yeah, and there was had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie. Oh. Oh my gosh. But if you are the boots on the ground, you want to be like the first to get there, right? But they're just like a dog going in circles chasing his own tail, Just still spinning in a big circle. Burning gas and probably driving down the freeway going, darn, I need to pee right now, or I'm sure I'm hungry right now, and now I got to go sit somewhere for 3 or 4 hours, like being a private detective. Just when you're 5 minutes away from your shift being over and you need to pee so bad, and you're hungry and you're hot and you're tired and you need a shower and you're just done, all of a sudden, the last 2 minutes of the case, oh my God, there he is! And then, you're on it for another 12 hours. It's misery sometimes. It's not glamorous like you see on television. And I give all those boots on the ground, thumbs up for at least letting us see, the rest of us who can't go out there, see what's going on, see the neighborhood, see the house, see the layout, see all the weird people that have driven by or walked by, and the memorial, and catching Savannah and Annie and Tommaso come to the house right before Savannah went back to New York. JLR is storm chasing now. Came across him chasing a tornado. Oh, where? I hear that there's storms in Oklahoma today, and I have a cousin in Oklahoma, but he's lived there for many years, so I guess they're used to it. I hope they have a shelter. Oh, he's in Oklahoma? Why do I think he picked the flowers on the porch? That is a very good question, Sarah. That's a very good question. I don't know. See, even JLR is running out of things to talk about on this case. We may have to move on, to a different topic and just, discuss her for the first 5 or 10 minutes or the last 5 or 10 minutes, and I have talked about other cases on here, but most of the true crime series has been on the Nancy Guthrie case. Kathy Mowry. Okay, I have one of those videos that says Nancy fought back, so he punched her in the face. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too, and that she was stooped over on the porch, that she was close to the ground. And then, some of those FBI agents are like, see, if there was a whole group, wouldn't they had more control over her? Well, maybe there was only 2, and one was across the street with the getaway car pulling the car out. Or one was around the back carrying something out that we don't know. But I think she fought to the end. I can't imagine being in that position and the stress of that. You got to be careful of the AI. AI is everywhere. I follow everything about baseball and the Dodgers, and there's all these AI videos of them and their families and their new babies, or their girlfriend or their wife is pregnant, and 90% of the videos are fake. You just have to stay away from the fake sites. Vicky, the neighborhood across from Nancy had a video camera put all around the house, thinking that maybe they would be stupid enough to get sloppy. Oh, you mean like after the fact? I think he blocked the camera so the vehicle wouldn't be seen pulling up. Could be. Kathy says she knows the name of the creator. Yeah, there's so much false information out there, though. And it seems like the FBI or Pima County Sheriff, when they had that list of 20 that they went to the gun stores with, that they gave up on that very quickly. That was just like a dead end. And how did they gather those 20 names? Why was it only 20? How did they get a list and said, okay, we have 20 people. These are the names we have to check. Where did that intel come from? They just didn't open up a white pages and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like, no, they had specific names. And then what's happened with the Walmart? Walmart said they were gonna look through the video footage of stores in the Tucson area to see if anybody, bought some of those items that the masked man had. But that didn't bring anything. That wasn't a fruitful search either. Vicky says, I told Mama that we have all the cameras and nobody is telling everyone the truth. Leanne, hello. Sorry I missed you. My 5-year-old has strep and double ear infection. Oh! I didn't have the ear stuff when I was a kid very much, but I had the throat thing, and I had to have a major surgery when I was 19 that I should have had at age 4. And all the throat problems went away after that. But yeah, it's just part of being a kid, and that's awful. I hope your youngster is getting better. Didn't that come from Walmart and their records of those holsters purchased in the last year? Oh, you mean the list of 20? Trisha says, oh no, Leanne, been there, lived through it. Yes, Tricia, she says, prayers for a speedy recovery for the little one. I've often heard parents or grandparents say to new parents, the days are long, but the years are short. Yeah, I remember you saying on one of the prior videos that your little one was sick. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say. I wrote this whole list today just on my own, like, chicken scratch notes. I learned to write chicken scratch from doing surveillance because you have to film and drive and sometimes talk on a radio or listen to a scanner. And, you might have a still camera plus a video camera or a film camera rolling, and you're driving, and you're going through your directions. And back in the day, there was no GPS. Everything was like just a map, and you didn't know necessarily where a subject was. There's just so much going on. Tricia says, I keep trying to convince the daughter that I am feeble and she needs to move back home. I was just going to say something on that last comment, and then I just lost my I don't know why, my train of thought just went, I remember the map books. No apologies necessary. I was trying to make a point about something, and the train of thought went. Because there were so many questions that I had today about all of this. But these are some of the same questions that we've talked about before, some of the same topics. I'm getting frustrated, is I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys. I don't mind coming live and talking to you guys. It's been fun. It's been great for my channel. Sadly, that something like this, a tragedy, would cause me to get all these views and even think about, oh, I might get remonetized someday. I definitely don't want that at Nancy's expense. I want to keep this case relevant. I mean, you're telling me, somebody here told me today that JLR is out storm chasing tornadoes in Oklahoma. Has he given up? I mean, he's a professional YouTuber, meaning he makes a living off of this, so he's got to find the next story, I guess. Oh, wow. That is good, Kathy. BP was 104/70. I don't take mine as much as I should just because I've been through so much over the last, several years with it that, and I'm in so many doctor's appointments, even the dentist takes it for me. I just don't want to be strapped to that machine all the time because it just gets me too, it's too anxiety inducing. I'll know if something's wrong, if it's too high or it's too low, because I'll feel it. And they're like, you can't feel that. Well, yeah, I can. And then to find out if they did not take her across state lines or out of the country, the FBI won't be able to prosecute. We will have to depend on Pima County. Oh, I didn't hear that. Didn't even think about that. Vicki, I'm going to keep praying for all of this to come to a head and see this all get solved, and I've got to get Mommy to bed, and I will be strong support for you and everyone else. Have a good night, Vicki. You saw the doctor today. Oh, okay. Boy, that's an amazing number for being inside a doctor's office. You must not have white coat syndrome. My blood pressure starts to rise just driving to a medical facility. But yeah, for a doctor's office, that's excellent. Good for you. Now, I wish I could hit a number like that without any meds. Then I'd feel probably 1,000,000 times better. And I understand as people age that they're not going to feel as well as they did when they were young, but there's a lot of people that are older than me that are more able to get around than I am. Vicki says, be careful and know that you are not alone. It most always runs that. Oh, wow. Lucky you, Kathy. I've had issues with that since my 40s. Bad DNA, bad genes on my side, or on my end. But I also think stress can cause a lot of medical issues too, and I've had a very stressful life. And not an easy career. But I've had a successful career. But it wasn't easy, and it wasn't my first choice. But I guess things happen for a reason. Jennifer Coffendorfer was saying it on her live. About what? What was she saying on her live? I know who she is. We talked about her on the last show, but what did she say? Kathy says, in my 50s, I was told that my heart was like that of an 18-year-old football player. Wow. Oh, the state or country lines? Yeah, so if they took her to another country, or they didn't take her to another country or another state, then it would just have to be prosecuted by the local authorities. I remember that, Vicki. She says, I am 63 and I go for my vascular surgery on the 19th of May. And I'll be thinking about you. Yep, Pima County, a whole other can of worms, isn't it? Ugh. I'm just, you know what? I'm just frustrated today. Maybe it's because it was bone pill day. And I was just like, oh, dang. You know, and usually the second day it hits me harder than the first day. I just, I don't want to feel bad. Like, it's always like a doctor's appointment or a surgery or a procedure or a test or, a text from the pharmacy. Come pick this up, like, oh, jeez. And you just get home and 5 minutes later, they send another text like, oh, now this one is ready. Like, you have to come pick it up. Come back. Oh, we didn't get that prescription from your doctor. Or we got it, but they didn't sign it. Or, oh, we're out of that drug and you might have to wait a week. Or like, I'm just so tired of the whole thing. I just want to, I just want to feel well and be able to go out and do YouTube and go be able to film the videos that I want to film. You just need a wild and crazy springtime romance. Oh, no time in my life for that right now. Too busy just trying to stay alive. That ship may have already sailed. Oh, thank you, and I just celebrated my first year since my pacemaker. Well, congrats. Jay says she has her scripts mailed in less short term. Yeah, if anybody can get that information for me about that plane that we talked about, the plane that took off at 4:45 a.m. for Mexico from Tucson on February 1st. I'd like to know the name of the company. Oh, Kathy was saying, I have great veins. I think that's because of the amount of water I drink. Are you the one that mentioned yesterday about the Stanley cups? The Stanley containers that you drink like a liter of water or something a day. That's really good for you. Yeah, I've been drinking water today. It's also genetic. Yes. A lot of my issues are genetic. It wasn't because of a poor lifestyle. It was just bad genes. Zero to 120 ounces a day. Wow. That's a lot. Trisha, I private jet departed Tucson for Puerto Vallarta, Mexico at approximately 4:45 a.m. on February 1st, around the same time the pacemaker of missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie lost its connection. Yeah, but who was the jet company? See, I don't think that has anything to do with it, but that keeps coming up, and I would just like to know the name of the company. Tricia, leading to investigation speculation. While this departure is being noted by investigators, there's no verified evidence she was on that flight, and the case remains active. Yeah, I kind of doubt that she was put on a plane, especially if it was just, if it was going international, because then there would be an immigration situation. And I don't think she was just, sitting in somebody's passenger seat or the back seat of a car going across the border, like at Nogales. I just kind of doubt that. I'd like to know about the lady who got airlifted to the hospital, too. Yeah, I don't think that was related. But remember, Trisha thinks that this whole thing, this whole disappearance story may be a cover-up for something else. And she's going to be found on a bench one day just sitting there with no memory of anything that's happened. I only wish that was possible. But I just highly doubt that. But we can always hope. That's all we can have is hope. Let's pray for Savannah. Let's pray for Nancy. Let's pray for everybody involved in this. Because, at some point, I need to be able to have more of a regular sleep schedule rather than sitting up in bed every night thinking about this. For people I don't even know. I don't know Savannah. I don't know Nancy. I didn't even know her mother, that her name was Nancy. I haven't seen the Today Show in years, Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, today's just the bone pill day, and it's 1 or 2 days of just feeling crummy. I think I need to get some food in my system and just keep drinking the water. Venus says, yes, very well could be. There are 2 YouTubers now at her house. Said there are fresh tire tracks in the driveway. I found the tail number of the plane, but no names. Oh, can you email me the tail number? I used to have I don't know if I have that database anymore, but I could put a tail number and I could get a plane registration. Yeah, if you could email that to me, Trisha, that'd be great. Oh, I didn't know the gym show was going on in Tucson when this happened. You have a brain like mine, hard to shut down thinking. Yes. Especially at night. My dad was a night owl. And he had to get up really early when I was a kid to go to work, like really super early in the morning. And I don't know how he did it all those years because he was a night owl and he didn't go to bed early and, he didn't get enough sleep at night and had to get up early and had to travel a lot in his job. Like, as a surveillance agent, when I did surveillance, a lot of the regular surveillance operatives, most of which were men, would be like, oh, eventually you get used to the schedule. Your body will adapt. Your body will adjust. And you'll be able to go to bed early and get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I never adjusted. Never. And can you imagine how early Savannah has to get up to go into New York? I don't know how far away she lives from the studio at 30 Rock, but like to get into hair and makeup and wardrobe and travel there to get there and and her day's probably over by 10 in the morning, and then she's just got to prepare for the next one. Like, I could never handle that. Okay, be miss. So the Richard guy, they now have found video footage of him in front of Nancy's on the second day that she was missing. The one walking the dog? And did they ever find out who the guy was in the car that was DUI, that drove by the house like 100 times or something? And he had like pictures of Nancy on his phone that he was looking at while he would drive by really slow. Oh, gotta go watch the Astros and the Yankees. You must be a baseball person like me, G. Or Jewel. I was looking at Jewel Giacana, and somehow my eye just focused on the G. Have a good evening, Jewel. Oh, I didn't see that. Kathy says, I saw something about Annie was collecting things from her mom's house. Yes, Kathy, her and Tommaso removed several boxes of stuff from the house a few weeks ago. Well, everybody, everybody, have a good evening. Once again, pray for Nancy's return. Pray that we get closure. And have good vibes for Savannah as well. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Sorry the vibe was kind of down tonight, but it's just like, where else do we go on this? Like, hopefully we'll get some DNA evidence soon, and at least they'll have a suspect. Tricia says, Nancy going to be out on that bench soon. Hey, Country Roads with Michelle. I'm just signing off, but feel free to watch on the playback. Yeah, it is. It's frustrating. But I do thank each and every one of you for coming. You guys mean the world to me. Have a good night.